The United States has issued a stark warning. Foreign nationals who support or fund terrorist organizations could face visa bans. This move is part of Washington's broader strategy to counter global terrorism and protect national security. But what does this policy mean in practice? Who could be affected? And how will this impact international relations? Let's break it down. The U.S. government has long maintained strict visa policies regarding national security. However, recent statements from the State Department and Homeland Security have reinforced that individuals who publicly support, fund, or associate with designated terrorist groups could be denied entry into the United States. This applies to financial backers of terrorist organizations, individuals spreading propaganda or inciting violence, and people who participate in pro-terrorist activities online or in person. The ban could affect tourist visas, student visas, work permits, and even green card applications. This policy is being reinforced at a time when global tensions are rising. Recent terrorist activities, online radicalization, and international conflicts have heightened security concerns. The U.S. is sending a clear message: if you support terrorism, you will not be welcome. This follows similar actions in the past, such as the Patriot Act, which strengthened counterterrorism laws after September 11th, the Trump administration's travel bans targeting high-risk regions, and ongoing efforts to combat online extremist recruitment. The U.S. is now expanding its reach, targeting not just direct terrorists, but also their supporters, enablers, and sympathizers. While the policy is aimed at countering terrorism, it could also impact activists, journalists, and social media users who may unintentionally engage with controversial groups. Some concerns include freedom of speech issues. Could expressing political opinions online be misinterpreted? Unintended consequences. Will peaceful activists be unfairly targeted? Travel restrictions. Could people from specific countries face disproportionate bans? Governments and human rights organizations are closely watching how this policy will be enforced. The policy could have diplomatic consequences, especially in regions where political movements and militias operate in complex environments. Countries with strong ties to the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Asia may push back against this approach. Some nations may argue that the U.S. is overstepping by deciding who qualifies as a supporter of terrorism. Others, however, may adopt similar visa restrictions as part of global counterterrorism efforts. The question now is, how far will this policy go? As the U.S. moves forward with this visa policy, here's what to watch for: enforcement mechanisms. How will officials determine who is a supporter? Legal challenges. Will lawsuits arise over human rights concerns? International backlash. Will affected nations retaliate with their own travel restrictions? One thing is certain: this policy is set to reshape U.S. immigration and security for years to come. What do you think? Is this a necessary step for security, or could it lead to unfair restrictions? Let us know in the comments below.